Welcome back again. In the last episode we discussed syllabus writing. Today we are going into book selection, if you need to obtain a book to instruct from. The easiest part of being an ESL teacher is having a textbook pre-selected for you. The faculty and board of administration typically will have a pre-selected lesson book that you must teach from. This makes utilizing a lesson plan easier. If this is the case in your teaching, you must look at the lesson book and understand what the book is trying to teach and understand how you are going to teach it. Some new teachers look at a course book and reject it at first sight. They do so because they do not understand what the book is trying to teach. Furthermore, they do not have a clear plan of what they want to teach a class. Other teachers, some who have never taught before, actually read what the lesson plan is and how to teach it. They become great teachers out of necessity. Each lesson they teach helps them teach the next class easier as they understand what is being taught in the book and how to teach it. If you do not need to choose a book, then don't criticize what the administrator has selected for instruction. Teach what is expected of you to teach. It's not your place to complain. Add to the lesson plan if you need to. This will make the lesson more interesting for the students. One of the biggest complaints about lesson books is from British teachers from England. The school teaches from an American Standard Book. The teachers see this and automatically say the grammar is wrong and so is the book. They then proceed to tell the students the book is wrong and teach the British Standard instead of the American Standard presented in the book. This reflects poorly on the school and confuses the students. While this is a small problem, individuals who grow up outside of a native English-speaking atmosphere author some textbooks. The grammar presented in them is of a poor manner and the book was written for students of that nation. The grammar in these books can be extremely weak at best. An example of this would be in the Philippines, where a few years ago, the National Education Department made drastic overhauls to its education system and books. They showed an example of a poorly written booklet. Pigs grow to adults. Therefore pigs are grown on farms. We all know pigs don't grow on farms, they are raised. This type of errors caused much embarrassment for the National Educational Department that oversees the books that are written and given to the schools around the nation. While books may pose a small problem, not using them to your advantage can be just as useless. One classic example of a teacher not using a book or course guideline is shown in the movie Good Morning Vietnam. While a teacher is teaching a boring grammar point, Robin Williams's character goes into the classroom because he wants to meet a Vietnamese girl. His teaching skills were poor at best. He had no guidelines and didn't improve his way of teaching. There may be other times in your future career that you may have to choose a book solely because of the economic situation of the school, high poverty area, or the textbook you are currently using needs to be supplemented, not enough information in the book. This happened to me in South Korea, where the corporate book needed to be supplemented. I found a book in the administrator's office and used it twice a week. It helped teach the course. You should search for a book to utilize for the most efficient capability of instruction second learners. You must prepare a checklist or have an idea of what you think you need for the students to be able to learn from. Methods of textbook selection. When you have to choose a textbook to teach with, you must choose a book that meets the demands of your teaching objective, the needs and wants of the students and the school. You want to be sure of what you are teaching will fulfill the needs of the students and your objectives. You must ask yourself the following questions. Is it appropriate? I have seen teachers instruct from comic books or have students read horror books. The students read these books and feel they are learning nothing. To ensure that the students learn properly, you must have a book that is full of material they can use in everyday situations. The more relevant a book is to the lesson plan, the more the students will learn. Does it have grammar points? Grammar points are good to have when you need to show sentence structure. If a book has grammar points, you can supplement with grammar handouts. The students can practice what they have learned from the book. Is it at an appropriate level for what you are teaching? Make sure what you teach what is at the student's level of ability. You don't want to teach beginners lessons that are too hard. An example would be to teach beginner-level grammar points from an advanced book. Likewise, you do not want to teach advanced students beginner-level material. If they find the lesson is too difficult, they will quit. Likewise, if they are being taught something they know they will quit because they will feel bored. Is it appealing? Some books spend too much time on artwork and too little time on content and vice versa. Ensure the book you choose from you can understand the lessons and the pictures contained within it complement the lesson plan. If you are buying a book with too many pictures and not much content, you are only buying an art book. Too much content with no pictures and you are buying a dictionary or travel phrase book. Does it need supplement material? Supplement material is material you need to give while you are teaching. If you are teaching grammar and want the students to learn more or practice more grammar, you would give them a handout for extra practice. This is known as supplemental material. If the book you are providing requires too much supplement material, you may as well not use the book. You will find yourself doing all the work. If the students learn a lot from a book, speaking, writing, and grammar, you have chosen a wonderful book. Does it have a lot of material? The Face-to-Face series in South Korea has 8 lessons that I had to teach in 16 weeks. It had little material. I spoke with corporate headquarters and they were impressed about my love for teaching. The book was updated with new material to ensure students could learn more. Find a book you can teach for months. I eventually supplemented Face-to-Face on non-lesson days with the series Best Friends, a 6-part series that included a lot of extra material for the students. It is culturally centered. One of the books I taught from was entitled New Interchange. The book I taught from in Korea had a character from Korea in it. The students took to the character and seemed to learn better. When I arrived in Cambodia, I looked at a book and noticed the student was changed to a student from Thailand and also found another book featuring a student from Mexico. If a book is culturally centered, students can make a connection with the book and learn easier. Likewise, is the book culturally sensitive? Ensure the book you choose doesn't have characters that may insult a certain race or religion, or the students will lose all respect for you. Is it a series? One of the biggest mistakes in choosing a book is to find a book that is only one in a series. What if you find the perfect book and then discover that you cannot find a follow-up, a compatible book, or one that is not as good as the one you previously used? You will discover your students have been disappointed with your choice of books. A series may give you up to 2 to 3 years of instruction. If the series is good, the students will like learning and you can teach them for a longer period of time. The happier the students are, the easier it is to teach. Does it review or recycle past lessons? This is important. After you teach a student a particular lesson, they have about a 75% chance of forgetting the lesson within 24 hours. If a book recycles or reviews lessons frequently, more than 8 times, a student has a 90% chance of remembering it. Is it easy to teach or learn from? Books with no direct teaching plan or strategy are hard to teach from. A book that has grammar points, audio tapes, dialogue practice is easier to teach from than a book without added materials. You should choose a book that has practice lessons in the book. You do not want to be writing the lessons on the board for practice because the book doesn't contain them. Does it have visuals? In some countries, mostly Asian, the students need visuals to elicit responses. If a book has pictures you can look at and ask questions from, it makes teaching a lesson easier. Young students like to learn about school or other children. The students, as you will find out, will remember the characters' names from the books and their personalities contained within. As stated earlier, if it has too much artwork, then you may as well just buy an art book. Does it meet your objectives? If you have beginners and you want them to learn about beginner conversational English, i.e. basic introductions, does the book include your desired objectives? Does it teach writing, reading, or listening? Does it have practice dialogue with a cassette, CD, or DVD? A practice dialogue with a CD is beneficial for 2 reasons. First, it broadcasts conversational dialogues that are linked together. The students can practice speaking the dialogues to each other. This will help their speaking, pronunciation, and listening skills. The other benefit is while the CD will allow them hear native speakers at a slower, normal pace, and the students will be able to increase their listening, pronunciation, and speaking skills. I have created a checklist if you need to search for a course book for a class you need to teach. If you answer yes to all the questions, then the course book is worth buying. If you only have a few no's on the checklist, the book may be okay to use, but use your best judgment before buying it. Course book checklist. When looking for a book, these are the things you may want to consider. Is it appropriate? Does it have grammar points? Or lessons? Is it at an appropriate level for what you are teaching? Is it appealing? Does it need supplement material? Does it have a lot of material? Is it culturally centered or sensitive? Is it a series? Does it review or recycle past lessons? Is it easy to teach or learn from? Does it have visuals? Does it meet your objectives? Does it have practice dialogue with a CD? I guess we're out of time for today. Please stop by again and I will continue to discuss how to teach English. Thank you for joining today.